This is Simarjeet Singh back again with my daily motivational videos, and you might be wondering, what am I doing with this money plant or pothos trimmings in water? And I have an important point to make. Now, let me give you a situation first. Let me give you a situation. Assume that you have a large indoor space available in your house or in your office, and you want to cover that space entirely with indoor plants. But there's a condition. You cannot buy new ones. You must use existing ones, take the trimmings and dip them in water and propagate the existing ones, which is pretty easy to do with something like the money plant or the pothos. You take the trimmings, you leave them in water, and you change the water perhaps once a week, and they grow roots, and then they're ready to be transplanted into soil, which is something that I've done with this particular plant here. It's now grown nice and big and green, pretty stable, and it's all full and bushy, but earlier it was just a small trimming and pruning. Now assume that you have a large indoor space available and you want to cover all of it with green plants made by propagating the existing ones. The process you would follow is you will have a trimming ready in water, and then you would move on to creating the next trimming. That would make sense, right? That would be common sense. I would have this ready, I'll change the water once in a week, I'll make sure it's getting some sunlight, but I'm not going to sit around and watch all day long whether it's grown its roots or not. That is not what I will be doing. Common sense will demand from me that I move on to creating the next trimming so that I have a bunch of them ready to be transplanted to soil so that my indoor green spaces is ready. However, this very mistake of just sitting there and staring at the plant to develop its roots, this mistake is what most creative people do with their creative initiatives. You publish that one video and then you spend the rest of the next week checking back on its views. You publish that one blog or that one podcast or that one Facebook post, and you spend so much more time in just checking back whether it has received the sort of response that you wanted it to receive or not. And in that, you're wasting something very precious. You're wasting your creative energy. Okay? So here's my message to you all, which is start creating, stop counting. I think it's worth repeating. Start creating, stop counting, enjoy the process. Now I enjoy the process of doing this so much that the results, I'm not obsessed with the results. And usually what happens is the results surprise me. And I think this is the same thing that works with life as well, or any sort of pursuit. If you enjoy the process, and if you're immersed in the process, if the process itself gives you great joy, the results are going to surpass your wildest expectations. So I had some notes written based on this observation, which I want to share with you. Here's another input. Do your job and detach from the outcome. Now, this is the best I can do under the given circumstances. I do my job and I do it well. I make sure the water is clean. I make sure this is getting some sunlight, and I got to detach from the outcome. I can't physically sit there and wait for every single one of these trimmings to grow roots. That would be impossible. Let the outcomes flourish in their own time, right? The universe has its own timing. Let the outcomes flourish and grow in their own time while you focus your energy on creation. Now, maintenance is important, don't get me wrong, but creation is where the fun is, okay? Maintenance is boring, but it's important. So I'd suggest, if you're a creative individual, if you have the power to come up with creative insights and you have the sort of wherewithal to bring those creative ideas to life, I suggest you spend about 80% of your time on creative pursuits and about 20% on maintenance, and zero time on checking back. Now, once in a while, checking back is important so that you can practice course correction, right? But don't overdo it. If all your creative ideas are dictated by this simple thing, I will do more of what the public likes, then you will be driven by the desires of the public, not the song that you want to sing. So it's really important that you focus your creative energy on creation. That's where the fun is. Maintenance is important. So I say 80% creation, 20% maintenance, perhaps maybe squeeze it that 1% at some point of time to check back and see how your material is doing, so that if there are any course correction is required, you can incorporate that. Because otherwise, if you're checking back all the time, my friends, what happens is you're operating from a law of attraction point of view, you're operating from a vibrational level of insecurity and doubt. If you're checking back all the time, you are not operating from a sense of self-assuredness. There is zero sort of faith there. You're operating from a high level of doubt and insecurity, and that is not good from a law of attraction perspective. So it's really, really important. As I finish this video, I leave you two quotes to ponder upon. Number one is the old proverb, which goes something like this: a watched pot never boils. A watched pot never boils, which is incorrect, because it does, right? This is a lie. A watched pot never boils. It does, ultimately it is going to come to a boil, but it takes terribly long. If all you're doing is just standing there and waiting and watching for the water to boil or whatever's in the pot to boil, it is going to seem like a really long period of time. So the message here is this: move on, do other things. Don't sit there and just wait for that particular trimming to grow its roots. The second one is from Robert Louis Stevenson, who said, don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. Don't judge each day by the harvest that you reap, but judge it by the seeds that you plant. So once again, in wrapping up, if you have a large indoor space which you want to fill up with indoor plants, and you want to do it by propagating, the method is very simple. You get the trimmings, you leave them inside water, and you move on, right? And you move on to the next one, and you move on to the next one. Don't sit there and stare at when is this one going to grow its roots, because it will grow its roots in its own good times. You guys take care, and remember, for the creators out there, your energy, your gift is in creation, not in sitting and watching. Take care. Bye-bye.